Darla, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. You're scum between my toes. Love, Alfalfa.
Okay, so if you guessed the Little Rascals movie, you were right. I remember watching this movie as a kid and watching the old school like black and white TV show as well. And watching it, this movie was wild. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up because it was, I wouldn't say it was a bomb.com, but it was so entertaining and I was cracking up. Like it kind of had a lot of like dad jokes in it and those to me crack me up. Like for example, this was one.
Hey, look, my mom's here.
And I was cracking up at that scene. I was like, oh my goodness. And then they have this other scene.
Ouch. If you were my kids, I'd punish you.
If we were your kids, we could punish ourselves.
So this movie was just wild because half the movie, it's kind of like the kids were all over the place. And like some moments, the kids, they would act like kids. And then other moments, they were like adult kids or like they would do stuff that adults should be doing in this movie. And it was so entertaining. And so there's like this one thing where their clubhouse goes on fire and it's basically like the clubhouse against women because they're little boys and they don't like girls at this point. So the fire starts. And then these little kids who have to range from like 3 to like maybe like 7, 8, they're like putting out the fire. They like have their little fireman's outfit. They find a hose. And I'm like, what? Little kids? And plus also my issue is how in the world are these kids' parents just letting them run around all willy-nilly like this? Like given this movie was like came out a while ago, but still I was like, y'all take care of your kids. But yeah, this movie was very entertaining and I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled. Like there were some parts I was like, oh okay. I was allowed to watch this back in the day. But yeah, it was a very entertaining movie and I still think it held because it was entertaining me as an adult and it was just very funny. I feel like there wasn't like a big lesson in this movie. It was kind of more that was just like a fun watch and kind of just over the top in every way, but a funny over the top way. And it was just very entertaining. The cool thing that I didn't notice is they had so many famous people in this movie. And I was like, what? Like Reba made an appearance. Whoopi Goldberg made an appearance. The mom from Switched at Birth, who's like in Back in the Future. I can't think of her name right now. She was in, like, it had like all these people that were like big stars and they're in this movie. And I was like, what? And even like the kids, so many of them went on to become actors that we are in our stuff today. And I was like, that's so cool. I never really realized. But my favorite in this movie is Buckwheat. He's like this little boy and he always has a song in his heart. And I was like, he's so precious. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. I hadn't watched it since I was a kid and it was just very entertaining and I laughed and the jokes, I like dad jokes. So this movie definitely had a lot of them and the entertainment was there. So yeah, if you've seen this movie recently or like this movie as a kid, let me know what your favorite scenes were because there was just so much going on, but it was so precious, so cute. Even Alfalfa singing to Darla in the beginning of the movie too. Here's a little snippet of that.
You are so beautiful to me.
That was good too. And then the letter was funny. At the moment, like the boys didn't like girls. Most of the boys didn't like girls. So it was like girls cooties, you remember when you were in elementary school. So these boys kind of felt the same way, but Alfalfa had a crush on Darla. And so the boys found out. They made him not talk to her at all. And so he's writing a letter. He's like, well, you said I can't talk. You didn't say I can't write to her. And Buckwheat's in the scene too. And he's like, what are you writing in this letter? And so Alfalfa tells him, but he doesn't tell them what he's actually writing. Like he makes it sound like he's writing a terrible, mean letter, but he's actually writing, I love you. I can't live without you kind of deal. And so then he has Buckwheat deliver it to Darla along with another little, like the 2 youngest. They always hung out together, Buckwheat and this other boy. And so they go deliver it to Darla, but the other little boy, he ends up like blowing his nose on the letter before he can give it to Darla. And so he's like, oh, it's okay, we remember what Alfalfa said. So then they just repeat what he told them was in the letter, even though that wasn't what the letter said. And it was just funny. Like I think this movie it was just entertaining and that is what I'm giving it a thumbs up for. There wasn't a big lesson in my opinion, but it kept me entertained. See you in the next video.
This has been another episode of Real Talk with Noelle.